The following program is sponsored by NARI of Central Ohio. NARI is the local chapter of the National Association of the Remodeling Industry, a not-for-profit trade group dedicated to setting the highest standards for home remodeling. NARI members stay up to date through professional certifications, continuing education, and adhere to a strict code of ethics. If you're looking for certified, reliable remodeling pros who are committed to doing your job right, check out the NARI membership directory or see their award gallery today. Start your remodeling journey at trustnari.org. Remodeling is more than just nails and drywall. It's passion, grit, and more than a little bit of humor. Welcome to the Remodelers Roundtable, where we talk shop, share stories, and get to know the people shaping the industry, one renovation at a time. What is up, and namaste, internerds? It's TV's Ben Niedenthal, and welcome to the Remodelers Roundtable, a NARI podcast. Today, I am joined by Robin and Carla from the Curnayn company.
I'm from Curnayn Sales.
Okay,
yep.
Curnayn Sales.
She's from
Bathworks. Yes. Okay, good. All right, well, welcome to the show. Thank you guys so much. I'm titling this episode, I'm continuing with my love of puns, and I'm titling this episode, Plumbing the Depths of Great Remodeling. So
okay,
yeah.
Okay.
So there you go.
Got to show up and give you some good content.
Yes. So all right. Well, first of all, thank you guys for coming in. It's great to see you and chat with you about the name thing we were going over earlier and name pronunciations, that sort of thing. So let's start off. When did you both get into the flow of the remodeling world?
You want to start?
Wow, this is.
I'm making Joe so angry with the puns right now. I can feel him going every single time.
I see the head shake.
So, do I have to give the year?
No.
Oh, good.
No.
Okay. So when I was in college, I needed a part-time job, and someone recommended going to work for Central Hardware. So I didn't give the year, but boy, I really dated myself. And I went in there to get a job as a cashier. And I had pretty handwriting. So they asked me to work in the plumbing department and make signs. And then one of the guys that worked at the desk said, "Do you want to learn how to design kitchens?" And here we are.
There you are.
I went from designing kitchens to more bathrooms and getting into plumbing. And
I bet you never thought the good handwriting would get you there, right?
And now it's not good.
No, it's not good.
It's not good.
Well, I think that happened to everybody after cell phones came along. So, yeah. So, Carla, how'd you get in?
So I have been industry adjacent, I guess I would say, since I was 16. I grew up with a neighbor who owned a company that made float switches for submersible pumps, as exciting as that is.
I'm sorry, go back. What is that?
So for submersible pumps that you're going to put in a pit, you need to move water, basically. Yeah. So these switches, dependent upon how, what is inside of the switch, it either, as the float goes down and you need more water to go into that pit, it will then fill, or it will evacuate water out of a pit.
Sort of like a toilet bowl, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Same idea. So that's for folks who are familiar with the submersible pump industry, like Myers hydromatic pumps. That's where I originate from. That's where they began in the 1800s with Myers. And so that was something I would go in after school and work for a few hours. And we were just a little company at the time, and everybody would leave for the day, and I'd go in and close up shop 7, 8 o'clock at night and lock the doors behind me. So they're a much bigger operation now, but that's kind of where I started. And have just continuously, I just get looped back in different ways. Somebody I worked with there at one point asked me to come work to take over for him. He wanted to retire. And so he wanted to train me to do his job for a company out of the Chicagoland area. So I took over for him and then met the folks that now I work for. So I got recruited in and I got to sleep in my own bed at night more often. And
wow.
So yeah, it made a lot of sense to come work in Central Ohio. So it's nice. Now I go places and actually know people. For so long, I was traveling different states. And so you didn't necessarily know. You knew your neighbors, and that was about it. I didn't cross paths with people the same way now. I can be at Costco and be like, oh, I know that person across the parking lot. So, yeah.
Very nice. So let's get into kind of the stuff that you guys do on a regular basis, the fixtures. I've been to the showroom. It's a beautiful, beautiful showroom.
Thank you.
I'm going to make Joe show some footage that I'm going to provide for him of the showroom because it's really nice looking.
Oh, well, thank you.
But what is one bathroom trend that you would like to flush permanently?
Oh, you could probably.
Also,
It's
flush.
better
Another
than me,
pun.
but
A bathroom trend that I'd like to flush permanently: drop-in tubs. So the old garden tubs. Do you remember the tubs that like you'd walk in and they would be in a corner, and some architect thought it was a great idea to put big windows next to a bathtub because your neighbors really want
entire bathroom.
and your neighbors really want to see that. So that would definitely be one that.
That's kind of a 90s trend, wasn't it?
It was, and it's going away.
Thank God.
And people are putting in freestanding tubs.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, we still get people that come in and they're like, no, I like that. And it's like, okay, because the customer is always right.
Yep. In my line of work, I like to say you can lead a horse to water, but sometimes the horse wants pepperoni pizza.
Exactly.
And,
exactly.
Sometimes the horse wants pepperoni pizza. What about you?
Gosh, for myself, I don't know what I will say for contractors that I deal with regularly. So we actually sell a line of vitreous china. So toilets are included in that. And I can say, I think what they hate the most would be skirted toilets.
Yes, they
because
do.
you don't get access to your bolt patterns when you're installing the toilet.
Oh.
So you actually have to stick your hand through a teeny little hole or back behind the toilet, and that is not easy for most grown adults.
No.
Let alone there's a lot of men doing that, and that's even harder than for women with the daintier hands.
Yeah.
So that is one where we get a lot of grumbling. When somebody picks that, they're not real thrilled. They look great. They're really easy for cleaning. They're very nice, but definitely not something that is well received on the contractor end.
Yeah. So do you guys ever get tired of saying the words moisture barrier at all? Is that a word you use a lot?
So,
Are there any words you don't like?
I usually am saying more waterproofing.
Okay.
It's more so than moisture barrier.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so
It's probably more.
We're talking more about waterproofing. You have to waterproof your shower before you put whatever kind of walls it is you're going to put up on it, because otherwise it's going to be very bad, especially if you do a car wash shower.
Yes.
So.
No, in college, we had a tile come loose on our shower that I was sharing. It was on campus. It was a really nice bathroom, as I'm sure you expect, but the tile came forward just enough for a whole bunch of water to get back behind there. And next thing you know, big holes in ceilings and floors and the whole thing. So,
oh, yeah.
good times.
Waterfall.
Yeah, good times. Waterproofing versus moisture barrier.
very important.
Yes. So, what is a story from the trenches that you guys have seen? What's the wildest plumbing or remodeling thing you guys have seen put into a house?
The wildest thing I've seen put into a house.
I know wildest. So when
Or I guess pulled out too. I bet pulled out is probably
that's
a
true.
more
You've probably
common.
seen some
Oh,
crazy.
yeah. Pink, green, lavender.
Mid-century.
Oh,
Black
I had-
toilet. There was a black
I will have to say I
toilet.
had one customer that had I think it was a peach colored or a pink toilet, and she really didn't want to get rid of it, or no, her bathtub. She really didn't want to get rid of it, and we were trying to figure out a way to work around it, and she finally gave up and she replaced it. And then Kohler came out with their retro color line, and it was the color that she pulled out. I felt so bad. I felt so bad. I was like, oh, poor thing.
Oh, man.
Maybe she didn't know.
Yeah.
Can only hope.
So let's talk about Bathworks. Let's tell us about the company.
So Bathworks is a part of Plumbers and Factory, and Plumbers and Factory has been in existence since 1932. They are a family-owned business that is owned by the Reynolds family. Bathworks Showroom, the showroom that we're in now, we actually moved in there in 2019. And then we had our grand opening in 2020. And then came COVID.
Oh, no.
And so
You've probably heard of that if you're listening at home.
and so our first 6 months after that was a lot of appointments, masks, gloves, sanitizing, and it was a little crazy.
A lot. Yeah.
So since then we have actually increased the size of the showroom. We just keep on adding new things. You never know what you're going to find when you come in there.
It's a maze of beautiful fixtures, and it really is it's a gorgeous showroom. So
thank you. Well, and the biggest thing is a lot of people will come in and they'll think, oh my gosh, I can't afford anything here.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily true.
Right.
We do have things that span price points.
Yeah.
So one of the lines that Carla has, Gerber, is a really well-priced something for someone that's not looking to create a $50,000
a shrine.
Yes.
We like to say we don't have to be in your primary bathroom. Put us in the guest, in the guest bath or the kids' bath, or in a little basement kitchen, and try it out and go from there. So it's not a name that's as recognizable as some of the others. So you've got end users who come in and see ads, and so that's something they look at certain things and they have that brand recognition, versus some of the others that are still great quality. They're just more contractor known. They're not necessarily an end user, recognized name. So
we always say that Gerber markets to the plumber. They're not marketing to the homeowner. So the quality's still there. The lifetime warranty is still there. It's just that doesn't have the marketing that Kohler, Moen, Delta,
gotcha,
all of them have.
Yeah.
So
I like to say you're not going to open a Better Homes and Gardens and see a full page ad for Gerber. That's just they invest their money back into their R&D and do it that way, but that hinders the recognition, on the end user side. So that is something there. Yeah.
I admire that though about a company that recognizes that, like, if you support the right end of that with your marketing efforts, you're going to naturally reach the right people that you want to reach, and people who I'm assuming Gerber customers are pleased with what they end up having installed.
Yeah. Knock on wood, we've had good luck. So
well, this is basically wood. Yeah, it's mostly it's So, but okay. So we talked about the showroom on Morse Road and that sort of thing. So what sets the whole works apart? What is different about Bathworks versus other companies?
So one of the things that we say at Bathworks is that our job is 80% education and 20% sales. The biggest thing is when somebody comes in and they want to remodel their bathroom or remodel their kitchen, there's a lot to learn. There's a lot of items in there, and it can be very overwhelming. So a lot of things that people don't realize is when you're talking about replacing the trim in your shower, you can't just go in and buy any trim. It has to go with whatever brand the valve is that's in your wall. So a lot of that education type things, how to put together a car wash shower, how to do the difference between what you buy at Lowe's and Home Depot versus what you buy from us. There's a quality difference, those kind of things. So we spend a lot of time educating our customers and then letting them make the decision. Because I always tell the customer, I'm not the one that's going to get up in the morning and drink my coffee in your kitchen or be in your bathroom. So it needs to be what you want, not what I think it should be.
Yeah, and absolutely. Obviously you're dealing with probably the most personal spaces of the house, and make it your way. Exactly.
And customer expectation is a big thing too. Like when they're dealing, we talk about a car wash shower, so you've got all your body sprays and all that, but you can go in and dream whatever you want, but then you have to have the mechanicals that can support. You need your hot water. If you're going to be in a shower, you got to make sure you've got enough hot water to be even supplying those sprays and your handhelds and your rain head shower heads and all the all the gorgeous stuff.
Moving more water, you're going to need more hot water coming through. I didn't even think about
some of those showers can be in excess of 30 gallons a minute of hot water.
Yes,
it's crazy.
That's why we call it a car wash.
And how often are they using it? Maybe not very often. It's more just to look at. But when you are going to run that, and let alone anyone else is in the house, and you've got to make sure they can wash their laundry on hot, or you can wash dishes, or even just wash your hands. Somebody else is in the shower in a different bathroom. There's so many variables that go into design. You've got the pretty stuff, but then you've got all the inner workings, behind the wall or in the crawl space or basement that go into a space. So it's a lot of, an expectation isn't always, or what they're willing to pay for that. You go in and have a budget in mind, and there's a whole lot of, you start peeling that onion, a whole lot of other things start coming into play that you've got to adjust or change or add.
Yeah. And I would imagine there are probably a lot of them are going to be like me and don't realize that you require all that back end stuff to make it all work. And that's the education part. So,
Yes, the water does not magically go from a pipe to the shower head.
As a standard consumer, that's what I believe. So,
I just turn the handle.
I wish I could turn that part of my brain off.
And I'm sorry to kill your dreams.
No, that car wash shower that I've been picturing in my head, I just picture my entire 30-gallon water heater. That would be 1 minute of a hot shower and then...
Exactly. And even a bathtub. Like people that do these bathtubs that are 50 gallons of water.
Yeah, it's a lot of water, man.
You put all that in there.
That's a huge fish tank if you think about that.
Right.
I know, it's a weird way to put it, but yeah.
Yeah, and if you decide that you want one that is just a soaker tub...
Yeah.
You sit in that for so long, and then the water gets cold, and then you go to turn on more hot water, and there isn't any to be had.
Yeah. So what advice would you have for homeowners who want to dip their toes into a full bathroom remodel, but feel overwhelmed by all the leaky decisions? Sorry, that was a stretch. I apologize. That one I will apologize for. I'm not taking it out though. Sorry, but
that so it depends upon whether they are doing it themselves or whether they want someone to do it. If you want someone that is going to come in and remodel your bathroom, there are different types of remodelers. There's design build companies. So one of the ones that we work with is J.S. Brown, which I know Monica was here. Then there's remodelers that just come in and do the remodeling. You go pick everything out. You don't have a designer. It's more basic. So we have all of those in NARI. So my recommendation is start with NARI because those are people that have been vetted. All the members of NARI are people that we know that customers are happy with what it is that they've done, because if they're not, then we find out.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess that answers my next question, actually, which is how has working with NARI helped you keep things flowing smoothly? So no, that makes, and it's, you don't think about a lot of those decisions. And it had not actually occurred to me that somebody might try to do the DIY route, because I'm the kind of person, like, I know that my two limitations are electricity and plumbing. I will never try them because I'll either kill myself or flood my house. And,
and so, you should never do them together.
No, not at all. It's so when you go to a place like that, like I would expect, like, no, you're putting it in. I'm just, here to pick it up. But no, it's, how much DIY stuff do you guys see?
We do see a fair amount. I mean, there are some people that come in and we do onyx showers. So a lot of people will come in to do that because we're one of the few places in town that you can buy onyx to install it yourself. Most of the places in town that sell onyx, they install it. So which onyx is shower walls and bases that are made of a material that's a resin-based material. It's very easy to keep clean. So it's a really nice product. But that right there is the biggest thing, is that you want to make sure that you're not getting in over your head.
Yeah.
There are a lot of YouTube videos on how to do things, but you have to be cautious because not everybody who creates a YouTube video knows what they're doing. And personally, I live in a house that's 100 years old, and there have been several people that have lived in it that maybe have done some remodeling projects in it before we moved in. So we have a house that I like to say is a giant Christmas present. Every time we open up a new wall, there's a surprise because you never know what somebody might not have done the right way.
Yep. So
if you're going to do it, make sure that you really know what you're doing, because otherwise it will be very costly down the road.
I mean, it just seems like, the water thing, I mean, just alone is, why would you want to even take a risk on that? It's something your homeowner's insurance generally is not super favorable towards. Anyway.
Right.
So have a pro do it.
Right.
So,
exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what do you think a feature that's the next big splash in this world?
Honestly, this is going to sound crazy, but the big thing right now with health and wellness. So steam showers are huge. Saunas
that's what I was
are
gonna
a
say.
big thing.
Really?
Saunas are coming
really big.
And I do love a sauna.
And you
but,
can
know.
invest some money in a sauna.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do a sauna that can range, $5,000-$10,000. You can do a sauna that's going to be somewhere between $50,000 and $100,000, like
Holy
whole
cow.
nother, almost like.
Could you walk me through the difference between a $5,000 sauna and a $50,000 sauna?
So the biggest thing, at least, so we do sell a line, full disclosure, we sell a line of saunas. There's Thermosol we represent. So we're a manufacturer's representative agency. So we've got a number of different lines that we represent. So one of which, mentioned Gerber, Thermosol is a steam shower, is basically where they started. So that's kind of their bread and butter, but they were purchased last year by a large company in the sauna space, and that's Harvia, which is a Scandinavian company. They are kind of the leader as far as saunas go. So I'm learning all sorts of new things about saunas. What we have found.
I'm like,
so
oh, yes,
you can,
Harvia. They're very good.
yeah, right? Oh, yes, I recognize. And it kind of runs the gamut. You
Yeah.
can find Harvia. They've got different levels. So as you get more expensive, you find they've got, and even the smaller ones where you're spending maybe $5,000 to $10,000 can be customized, but it's going to be, smaller space, some of the heaters and things that go into it, your options are going to change tremendously as you get more expensive. It even goes into, so most of them are made to assemble on site, whereas the larger ones, you start seeing flatbed trucks coming with cranes unloading, and it's like rooms. So you can go in your backyard and literally have your sauna room. And then you can have next to that a changing room. It's almost like a modular system that you can piece together. You can have a sitting area before that where you can just kind of, hang out by the pool or wherever you may be in your backyard.
Man.
I mean, it's like a secondary building that.
And that's
you
all
can
for
have at your home.
$5,000, right?
That's a plus a 0, 0, 0, 0 on the end of that.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, you can get really, and
I mean,
there's plenty that.
It sounds rad. If I could afford it, I would definitely.
That's what I
do it.
say. Like, man, if only I could convince my husband to spend
Seriously,
$100,000
yeah.
to just put another building in
Make
the
a
back
note
of
to
our yard.
myself,
Yeah, right.
Tell my wife we need to look into saunas.
Right. But
yeah.
saunas are big. Also cold plunges. I don't know if you're getting
Yes.
that question a
Yeah.
lot.
Like ice
but-
plunges?
Yes.
Yes. So there's several companies that are coming out with cold plunge tubs.
Oh my god.
We are looking to put one in our showroom. So one of the things about our showroom is it's interactive. So we actually have a spa room. Everything in there is, you can go in and try it.
Functional.
So you can make an appointment, come in with your bathing suit, and you can try an air jet tub. You can try a steam shower. You can try body jets. You can try an intelligent toilet.
Dang.
You can, we have towels and everything in there. And then we have somebody that comes in, cleans it, sanitizes it after it gets used.
That's pretty cool.
So
That's,
And
now
they
the-
have a towel heater. So,
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
part of me wants to make a joke out of that, but like on the other hand, like, no, that sounds perfect. Cause like if you're going to buy something like a really
Yes.
high-end expensive toilet, like
Yes.
you kind of want to know, like, how does it work?
Yes.
And so, no.
Well, and there's so many options out there. And that's,
Yeah.
and you go into a showroom and you see there's a lot of varying price tags
Yeah.
there. But then you go into a box store and you see very different price tags on things
Yes.
that you think are the same. But the biggest thing to homeowners, especially because they just, like you said, like people don't necessarily recognize all the facets
Right.
of the industry and what goes into all this stuff. But like you go to look for a faucet, you are looking at something in a box store that a lot of times has a lot of plastic. You go into Walmart and they've got smaller containers. It's priced lower than what you're going to find in the grocery store. It's smaller, but you don't realize it's smaller, right? So you're getting less for what you're paying. It's a smaller price tag. It's kind of the same thing in the box stores. A lot of times they're paring out as much as they can to make it more affordable, but you're not going to get the longevity out of that product that you do with a lot of other things. So you're going in the showroom, you're seeing products that are higher grade, better material, brass, internal components in these faucets or whatever else you're getting. It's a very different product, even if it looks very similar to what you're going to find in the box store. So that's something that people just don't understand. But there's a lot that goes into that.
Well, you're convincing. Like my back of my head, I'm like, oh, that explains a lot of problems in my house. So okay, yes,
right, absolutely. And it's common. You just think like, I need something, I'm going to run there, and you're not necessarily getting the same thing. You know,
no, absolutely. But it's easy to think about it from the I need to fix this rather than the I want to fix this for the last time.
Right. Yes,
right. And Moen just did a study that, they just published a study. I can't remember which university did it, that some of these faucets that are coming from overseas that maybe are companies that you've never heard of, they actually have contaminants in the faucet that when the water runs through, it's actually poisoning you.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
No good.
Yeah.
No, let's...
Yeah, there's a lot of scary facets to all this.
Thank you to that. Man. Okay. Well, okay. So NARI brings a ton of pros, everybody all around. And obviously you work with a lot of them kind of across the board. What is the best part about being plugged into that network?
Definitely the networking. I mean, the networking is huge. I've met a lot of people through NARI. I have brought people into NARI.
Yeah, guilty as charged. Yes, I was recruited.
But I actually, my first experience in NARI was in 1996. So I've been around NARI for a long time, and I've watched. There are some people that have been involved with NARI for decades and are just a wealth of knowledge. And the biggest thing is with NARI is that if you are a remodeler, it's wonderful because you can go in and somebody's not constantly trying to sell you something, but also you can ask questions and you can learn things from each other and talk about experiences or situations that you've had and help each other out. And it's very open to that. There is competition, but by the same token, there's also camaraderie.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, and like it seems like it's one of those things where, I mean, and I'm equating this to my line of work, it's like sometimes I come across a problem that I know for a fact I'm not the first person to come across whatever this is. I bet you anything somebody else out there knows that. And if you're in a room with other people who do this regularly, just the wealth of knowledge and just the like you said, the networking, really amazing. So
yeah. And it's a great industry to work in. It's just a great group of people. And, you meet people, we all are doing, again, very industry adjacent things, but we don't always overlap in a lot of ways. But it's really wonderful people, good friendships that you make, good connections and camaraderie, like Robin said. It really is an enjoyable. And I even, NARI's great. I also love the contractors that I deal with. They're awesome. They're just salt of the earth people that you enjoy interacting with. It's, all jobs are jobs certain days. Like all jobs can overwhelm you, but there are plenty of times where you can interact with everybody like they're your friends. They're not necessarily just your customers. There's an overlap there. And that's
at the end
really
of the day,
important.
you guys are improving people's living spaces, which is going to, you're affecting people's lives as directly as you can possibly.
Right. Without being in charge. I like to say we're not doing brain surgery, so I can turn my phone off over the weekend, and I can't do anything over the weekend that I can't do on Monday. It's nothing that has to get done. And that is really nice to be like, we're having a positive effect on people's spaces and mindsets and all that, but not something where we're affecting their lives in a way that's like life or death. So it's great. It's kind of, best of both worlds in that sense.
So if somebody's like me and they're considering getting a remodel done, what is the best way to go about starting that process without it going off without a clog? I went a long way for that pun. It didn't land it all that well. I apologize, but
no, it's okay. Hey, it's always worth a try.
They can't all be winners, okay? I'm sorry.
So we have a list of remodelers and plumbers, designers, design build companies that if somebody comes in and they've decided that this is what it is they want to do, but they're starting from the beginning, we either recommend contact NARI or we have that list, and that gives them the ability to but we always tell them, vet them, because these people do not work for us. We work with them. So, and that's really important. Anybody that you have that's coming into your home, make sure that they're licensed and insured. Make sure that you vet them, that you make sure that they've done quality work for other people.
Referrals. Yes,
Yeah, check
absolutely.
referrals, things like that, because you're bringing them into your home. And not only are they remodeling your home, but they're in your house with your family. So you want to make sure that it's someone that you can trust.
Yeah.
And I think too, looking at obvious, I think everything costs more than what I think it should at this point in my life. And so I'm always shocked but you want to have an idea. Now, obviously not everybody knows what things are going to cost, but I think going in at least with kind of a target budget of what, just even what you're willing to spend, and then having a very real conversation with them to say, here's what I could do. What can we do with that? How do we work with that? Because it can easily get away from you and you can do some amazing things. I mean, the sky's the limit. There are so many. You can have $100,000 sauna in your backyard if you wanted it. Or in your basement or whatever. It's insane the money that you can spend. But if you have a very real and comfortable point to start, then maybe you do little bits and pieces at a time. You don't. We see some of these at the end of the year awards where some of these contractors are doing amazing whole home renovations that are exceeding not only $500,000 but $1 million plus. I mean, people are spending a lot of money in their homes, but you can also do some really fabulous work that doesn't break your bank, So that's something to just go in and have a really comfortable starting point or, and have a little maybe wiggle room, but otherwise just build upon it as you can. It's not all necessarily, I'd love for everything to get done in my house at the same time, but it's never going to happen. No. So, little by little, you've got baby steps. So,
and you guys were also involved with Build My Future this past year and again this year too, I assume. So, you guys had one of my favorite booths at the event last year where you guys were teaching these kids. They're all like high school kids and they've never done anything like this before, but you had basically just like general plumbing stuff set up and kind of teaching them how to just route the pipes and the whole thing. It was
so we had a diagram and there were three kids did it at once and they had to race to see which one could look at the diagram, put it together fastest. Yeah. And then we had a $50 gift card from Amazon that was the grand prize for whichever kid had the best time at the end of it. Yeah. And the kid that won, he would come back every 15 minutes and check the board to see if anybody had gone faster than him. And if they had, then he would ask if he could do it again.
That's amazing.
So it was, and then the other
that
thing,
kid's got a future,
right?
Work, man. Yeah.
And then the other thing that we did was we taught them how to install toilets and taught them about things to look at in their toilets. And one of the kids looked at me and he said, my mom was complaining our toilet's running and now I can go home and show her how to fix it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
There's so many things that, you don't get taught in school that you really need to know, just good life lessons.
Yeah. Balancing checkbooks and general plumbing stuff.
Insurance, insurance stuff. It's like, well, okay, what, how do you balance all this? How do you know what the best option is? It really, truly,
and it's just such a neat outreach to, and kids are so easy to motivate if you get it in the right context. And I mean, like that kid coming back, that kid's got a future doing something like that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And that's fantastic.
And go ahead.
There were other kids that were there that I'm pretty sure did not come necessarily because they wanted to know all about the trades.
Right.
I think they came more because they wanted a day out of school.
Yeah.
And they were amazed.
Yeah, and they come out going, maybe I'm going into the trades.
Right. And we had a lot that said, how do I become a plumber? How do I become an electrician? How do I do this? And it's huge because if college isn't your thing, the trades are a great direction to go because you can go in and do an apprenticeship. You're still getting paid most of the time for apprenticeships. And then on top of that, when you're done, you're making as much money as some people getting out of college and you have no student debt.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So it's huge.
And there's an entire generation of people who are aging out and retiring out of the industry. Yes. And there's not that many people coming in. No. So it's a wild west of just opportunity. Mm-hmm.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
Getting into it, and that's just such a cool program. And so as far as the leadership qualities of the next generation, what do you think they should be cultivating?
Communication is huge. We are at a point now where all we want to do is just look at our phones and not speak to people. That's huge, is to be able to have communication. And also being honest and appreciative of what it is that you are getting. Because a lot of times we tend as a society to think we deserve things. And I think that we need to be more appreciative of what it is that we have. We're actually trying to connect with a group that builds beds for kids in Central Ohio. And I was told that there are 800 kids in Central Ohio that do not have beds to sleep in. And so we're trying to connect with them to see if that's something that we can work on through NARI, through even Build My Future.
Yeah.
So that we can make that happen for these kids. And they put them together and then they take them out to the kids and
That's
have
awesome.
a mattress and everything. So I feel like a lot of times we don't realize how blessed we are with the things that we have.
Yeah. No, that's a great answer. So where can people go to follow you guys and the companies and everything like that, and if they want to get more information?
So Bathworks, we are on Morse Road. So we're at 2631 Morse Road, and we have a Facebook, and we also have a website. So our website is bathworks.us, and our Facebook is Bathworks.
It's probably about the same thing.
Yeah, I think it's
guess.
about the same.
So you're in, obviously but you ship anywhere in the United States?
No.
No?
No, so we will ship places depending upon the size of things, but for the most part, we are local.
Okay.
So typically, we are working more out of our showroom, selling, because the whole point is for it to be hands-on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you come in and you're looking at a faucet, if you pick up a faucet at Lowe's and Home Depot, and then you come in and you pick up a faucet at our place, you're going to feel the difference in the weight of the faucet.
Yep.
Because there's so much more brass. And that's the whole point, is what it looks like online and what you think you're getting are not always the same. With us, you come in, you look at it, and you get what it is that you think you're getting.
That's great. That's great.
For us, so we do have a website. It's curnaysales.com, but it's pretty limited on what's on there. It just shows you the manufacturers that we represent, but eventually probably our mugs will be on it as well. I sent my headshot in for them to have that on, but I don't know it's there yet. But so really, a lot of the brands that we represent have a lot of, online presence. Us, not so much. We're a smaller company and we don't do a whole lot of social media posting or anything like that. It's more sharing of all of our vendors that we represent. Yeah, all their stuff. So
I will say Gerber just had a really cool Facebook post that they put. So they actually took a faucet and they made it into a beer tap or a wine tap. Did you see that?
No, I did not. That's very interesting.
Yeah, they had it where when you turned it on, it poured wine.
Wow.
Well, I'm gonna have to go check that out. Yeah, I'm not
That would
great
be a
on
very
being
expensive remodel, I
on
bet.
social media these days. So I gotta. Yeah, that'd be fancy.
Yeah.
I could put that in my kitchen.
So, all right. Well, last thing here. Finish the sentence for me, both of you.
Oh, geez.
When in doubt, always.
Oh, wow.
When in doubt, always. Oh, gosh. Oh, man.
Sorry, I threw you.
This is like my dad jokes when I'm trying to think on the fly, and I'm like, I don't remember what it is, but it's so funny. I swear.
It's sad because when in doubt, always shout it out is in my head because of the shout commercials.
I would say, at least when geared toward a homeowner, don't panic. Like, it can be fixed.
Yep.
There are things that can be done. Gosh, I don't know. I need a good one, but I don't.
I would say when in doubt, don't always look at the cheapest remodeler that you can get.
Yes, yes.
Definitely look for the one that is the most qualified and, again, licensed and insured, and NARI is the place to go find them.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
when in doubt,
Trustnary.org.
trustnary.org. There you go.
NARI, yes.
All right. Well, hey, guys, thank you so much for joining us. This is awesome.
Yeah,
really love
thanks
to
for
sit down
having
with
us.
both of you. And thank you for tuning in to the Remodelers Roundtable, NARI podcast. We'll see you next time. Boxland Media. Think big.